𝕊𝕋 and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to start a new reading vlog. Technically I already read all these books, but since I'm very indecisive, I thought it's gonna be a smart idea to actually film the first clips in these types of videos after I'm done with all the books. So, if you see me in this outfit again in this video, it's same me, same time, not Back to the Future stuff or Back to the Past stuff. Very confused about that movie too, because the guy went to the past to flirt with his mom. Okay. This video is gonna be dedicated to queer releases that I'm very excited about. I do have a bunch of this that I need to read because I mentioned them in my most anticipated video, but I failed to read many new releases this year, so that's the point of this video, to motivate me. I have 4 books to talk about in this video. The first one is Cool for the Summer by Dahlia Adler, which is a young adult contemporary about a bisexual protagonist who is pulled in 2 directions by a girl that she had a summer fling with and a guy that she's been obsessed with since middle school. The second book is, of course, How to Find a Princess by Alyssa Cole, which is gonna be, well, it was the first book, the first full-length novel that I read by Alyssa Cole. It's also the first full-length FF that I've read from her. I think it's her only one. I've read her novella in the past and I loved it. So, more of my opinions in the actual video. I also have an arc of this book. The third book that I want to talk about is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. Very anticipated, very hyped about this girl that went to Vegas and got drunk and got married to a stranger who's a woman also. And the fourth book is something I really anticipate. I love Sebastian, it's her new release, she always makes me happy. This year's release is called The Queer Principles of Webb, and it's a start of a new series, possibly. I'm very, very pleased with this one, spoiler alert, and I'm going to talk about it more in the video. So these are all 4 books that I'm going to talk about in this reading vlog. If you have any queer releases that you want me to check out, leave them in the comments down below because I'm gonna make more of these videos. I need to catch up. And on that note, let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of this video. So I'm back with a couple of updates. Currently in my apartment, it's still not properly set up yet. I just stuffed some books into my shelf. They're not organized. Tell me if you want to see an organization video, although I do hate filming them, so I'm not sure it's gonna happen, but you know, maybe. The 2 books that I finished already for this vlog are Cool for the Summer by Dahlia Adler, and I also finished How to Find a Princess by Alyssa Cole. We're going to start with How to Find a Princess by Alyssa Cole for continuity's sake. How to Find a Princess in general was very fun and delightful. I enjoyed the premise of it. I really liked the chemistry between the characters, and the characters in general, especially Baz, are to die for. They're very, very well written, as in they are real people. Baz is honestly everything. I found her to be very, very charming. The story itself was supposed to take inspiration from Anastasia, the animated movie, and there were certain parts of the plot that were similar. Basically, the whole plot is about a lost princess and Baz being hired to find this lost princess. Well, technically she goes against her employer because she believes that 𝕆𝕍𝔼𝕼 is the lost princess of 𝕆𝕋ℍ𝔼𝕼, which is a made-up African country. I believe all the books in the series, which I have not read, are about royals from made-up countries. I gotta say that it was a very whimsical part of the story and I enjoyed it. This whole concept was fun because it reminded me of Coming to America and Princess Diaries, this whole book actually. So I enjoyed that part. I loved the start. loved how the characters were introduced to each other, loved their characterization, and enjoyed the start of their arc. But I gotta say that the middle got a little bit slow. And in general, it is a slow burn romance. So if you're not into them, I'm not sure you're going to enjoy it. The middle part, especially when they get on the boat that has to ship them to 𝕍𝕋𝔼𝕼, so Makeda would be able to prove that she's the lost princess, was excruciatingly slow. And I didn't really like it, even though the initial idea was fun and cute because they were supposed to pretend that they are spouses on that ship for reasons that I'm not going to get into. I think the attention from the romance was pulled a little bit, and also on the ship there were so many characters I didn't care about and didn't want to care about. I wanted a bit more romance. And I gotta say that it got much better after they left the ship, but the last part of the book was very, very short. Even though I really liked the plot twist, I would have appreciated it more if it was set up properly. So overall, I give this book 4 stars. I liked the key elements of it, but I would have cut the middle part a bit shorter. The next book that I finished was Cool for the Summer by Dahlia Adler. I'm a big, long-time fan of Dahlia Adler. Love her work for LGBTQ reads. If you don't know what LGBTQ reads, I'm going to link the blog down below. It's very, very extensive and you can find anything on it. I also really like her work. Out on Good Behavior is one of my favorite FF romances. I think it's one of the best I've ever read. So I was very excited to get into this one. This is a young adult story that follows a teenage girl with a bit of a love conundrum. She spent the summer with the daughter of her mother's boss and fell in love with her. They had a bit of a summer fling, but it wasn't supposed to be a thing that continues. Then she comes back to school and discovers that a guy she had a crush on for the longest time starts paying attention to her, and she wants to get into a relationship with him, then to be once again hit with the news that the girl that she had a fling with this summer transferred schools and now is going to this school. So it's a bit of a love triangle. She can't really figure out her feelings because the girl is giving her a cold shoulder, the guy is really into her even though before he was not into her, and she can't choose between them. This one is a fun book. It's perfect for teenagers, I think older teenagers. There's enough drama in it. I would like to see a movie with a similar plot. It is about friendship and complicated relationships. It's about teenage drama in general. I had a really fun time with this month. So Honey Girl, I think I already told you that I'm not especially jazzed about it. I don't really connect to the writing. I think it's very pretty, but sometimes it doesn't come across as intentional. Occasionally I feel like the pretty sentences don't make much sense. And also as I go further into the book, and I'm nearly at the end at this point, the love interest comes off as manic pixie dream girl because she doesn't have much going on in her life. We don't really get to know her. And the whole relationship is sort of insta-lovey, insta-soulmate because they don't really know each other, and the writing makes it seem like there's this deep connection between them. I think I'm struggling with this book is because it utilizes classic romantic tropes such as married in Vegas, one night stand. We don't really know if something happened between them yet. I think nothing happened. They just got married. But at the same time, it isn't a romance. It's more like literally fiction. I'm sure someone is going to correct me in the comments down below, but it doesn't feel like romance. It is a classic coming-of-age story with a literary twist. And I also think that it was not marketed correctly. At the same time, as a marketer, I sat down and thought about it and came up with this theory. I think maybe the book wouldn't have reached its audience if it was marketed as literary fiction. And by marketing it as romance, they would reach younger people that are currently experiencing quarter life crisis. I'm definitely not at that point anymore, and the character is 28, so I kind of feel like she is a very late bloomer, because usually, at least here culturally, you would think about these things when you're still under 25. The book has interesting elements. I would have just liked it to be reframed into a different genre. So that is why I think I don't enjoy the book as much as I hoped I'm going to enjoy it. It probably would end up a 3-star read, as far as I can tell right now. Okay, I finally finished with all the books. It took a bit of time, but I managed to get in time for Pride Month, which is unheard of. I'm a very slow reader. I have a lot of shit on my plate. I also don't read constantly because I also like consuming TV and films and spending time with my family, etc. You know, got a lot of shit on my plate. Also, don't have conditioning yet, so it's really hot here, so I might be a bit lucid. Taking all these factors in, I feel like I deserve some slow clapping for my efforts. Anyway, the book that took me way too much time is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers, which was surprising. First of all, I was listening to it on audio. Second of all, everyone loved it. So, am I sad about it? Yes, because I wanted to love this book as well, and it's always disappointing when you have all these expectations, especially when your expectations are, this book is gonna be my favorite, and it's not. I gotta say that it's not an indicator of the book being bad, because we all have different tastes, and the thing that didn't click for me was the writing and some structure issues. The structure issues being, it felt to me like the story was two different stories meshed together. At the end, I made a conclusion that these were two different drafts that were rewritten into one book. One was a romance, and the second one was a literary coming of age. If it was just pitched as a literally coming of age though, I would have never picked it up because it's not my jam. So that was the part of the story that I didn't enjoy. Not to say that the book didn't have important messaging or isn't gonna be valuable to anyone. The story of a person coming of age in their late 20s is just not for me, because I'm over that stage in my life and I'm also in my late 20s. So it kind of felt like this book was not written for me, which is fair. Not all books are written for me. My fridge just turned on, so if you hear any noise, it's that guy. I'm gonna give this book 3 stars, and I'm gonna encourage people to pick it up and see for themselves if they're going to vibe with it, if they're going to find it more enjoyable, because I feel like the book was not bad. It was just about an experience that I'm over with. The other tiny comment that I want to put out there is that Yuki, the love interest, is definitely a 𝕊𝕋𝔼𝕆𝕋 dream girl. She doesn't have much substance or flesh or realism to her, and it definitely grated me because I wanted to enjoy at least the romance part of the story, and I couldn't because this character was a ghost. So that's something to keep in mind too. But if you're looking for a 20-something, later 20s, coming of age, don't know what to do with my career, feel pressured about academics and by my parents kind of story, especially if you're looking for a story like that about a Black protagonist, the exploration of Black families and their relationship to success and their expectations of their children. Then I picked up The Queer Principles of Kit Webb by Sebastian, which was a delight. I read it in half a breath. I just loved it because it is completely what I'm looking for right now. I'm not looking 4 books with actual real life issues. I just want escapism and fun. Technically it had some real life issues, but it's set in a 19th century, so who cares? It's over with. Sebastian never disappoints me. She just can't do it. She knows how to write queers and historical romance, and I love that about her. She always delivers. She knows what she's good at, and when the author finds a specific niche or thing they're really good at, it's magic. I'm a romance girl through and through. If there is a historical element in the mix, I'm sold. So the story is about... Does it even matter? Let's be honest, it doesn't matter what the story is about. The romance was just good. But I'm a professional booktuber, so let's get back to the plot. The story is about a guy named Percy who is of gentry, who gets into a bit of a pickly situation because he and his stepmother named Marion, they're childhood friends. I know it's weird, but they're childhood friends. They're the same age. His father married her. It's whack. Anyway, they get an email, a letter. I'm deeply entrenched into reality, as you can tell. I feel like I need to check my email. Anyway, they get a letter from a blackmailer who tells them that Percy's father, Marion's husband, is actually married to a different woman simultaneously while being married to Marion, which is a big scandal and no-no, as you can imagine, because it means that this newer marriage with Marion is illegal, and also that Percy's claims to being an heir to the estate and to all the money and to the title are also illegitimate. The person that is blackmailing them wants money, a lot of money, and they don't have that money, surprisingly. So they decide to hire a reformed highwayman named Kid Webb to rob their father/husband. It sounds like a sister-wife situation, which is weird, but you know what I mean. They expect everything to go smoothly. But Kid Webb surprisingly doesn't agree to the deal, and he is content. He's not really content, but you know what I mean. And he is content with living his simple life as the owner of a coffee shop. The romance is between Kid Webb and Percy because Percy wants to take this man by storm and to convince him to participate in their plan, but that guy is super stubborn, and it is the most perfect opposites attract, dislike for class reasons type of historical romance. The attraction between them is so good. The banter is everything. The way Sebastian always manages to carve space for queer stories and queer characters in historical romance is beautiful. It's always top-notch. I love her writing style too, and these two were just so good together. Their chemistry is off the charts. I love the slow building of tension and all the scenes where they were becoming more and more accustomed and more in tune with each other. It was really good. It had a few plot twists too, but I mostly saw them coming, and it didn't diminish my enjoyment. I gave this book 4 stars. Certain aspects of these characters reminded me of Sebastian's previous characters, but I still really loved it. If you read Sebastian before, it's kind of like a mash of The Soldier Scoundrel and The Gentleman Never Keeps Score, which are her 2 best books. So if you love those, you're gonna love this one. I already talked, I think, a lot with my friends specifically why I love historical romance so much. Maybe I talked a little bit about it on my channel, but not enough, because there's been this Twitter controversy again. I think Kirka's reviews said something about Olivia Waite's historical FF romance series, and people were upset, rightfully, because the way it was written was very dismissive. They basically said, it's so cool that authors of today are making space for queer people in historical romance, even though it's ahistorical. Like, it's cool that they're making it so fun and so conflict-free. And queers being happy in the past is ahistorical, which is such bullshit. It's just such bullshit. Because I personally come from a pretty conservative country when it comes to the LGBTQ rights, and what these people experienced back in the day is sort of what I'm experiencing without jail time. But you know what I mean. Some countries even have jail time for being queer. So the author of the article basically said, if you live in a country that is restrictive in terms of gay rights, you can never be happy. Which is such a fucked up statement, because people in the past and today that are living in similar situations are carving out spaces for themselves when they are happy. We don't always need validation from the outside. The most important part for our happiness is our relationship with our partners, if we're talking about our queerness, our relationship with our found family. Saying that our lives are going to end in tragedy and we'll never be fully and completely happy without the approval of the straight heteronormative society is like saying we'll never be valid, or our joy is meaningless and insignificant until the wider public accepts us. And the thing that I want you to take out of this video is fuck the wider public. That's it. So these are all the books that I read for this video. My favorite one from this is The Core Principles of Kit Webb. Just excellent. Both How to Find a Princess and Cool for the Summer are gonna take the second place, and then Honey Girl sadly gotta take the third place. It was just a little bit disappointing for me personally. Don't worry, next time I'm gonna read One Last Stop because I gotta do it. I'm very nervous. It's also a book that is very hyped and I really want to love it because I love Cassie McQuiston's writing style and in general what they write about. So high hopes for that one. If you have any recs for me, if you want to see me read other queer releases, leave the titles in the comments. If you have nothing to say, you have not read any of those books, just leave an emoji that represents your mood today. This is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon with another one. But until then,